Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, as usual, before we begin with this lesson, we want to start it off by giving all the glory and infinite praise to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakadash. Those are the names of the Heavenly Father and His Son, in the ancient Hebrew, who you ignorantly call God and Jesus Christ. Double honor to the elders and the apostles, great millstone, who I'm taught and learn this truth 100% from. Peace and blessings be to all you who are serving Yahweh Shema Shai in sincerity, hoping for mercy, as well as salvation in these latter days, man. So you, we say Shalom, and Yahweh Shema Shai Brakathon. So I'm with the brother Yakal, and something that me and the brother was meditating on. You know, we actually got inspired to do this lesson from a lesson that the brother Amu Gabar put out. I can't remember what exactly the title of his lesson was. I'm gonna try to go back, you know, rewatch the video and, you know, clip it and, you know, put it as the intro, you know, just to you know, add to edification, you know, add more spirit to the lesson. But he had said something along the lines of, you know, the point of being in this truth and enduring is going through shit and prevailing through it. What would be the whole point of enduring if you wasn't going through shit? If you wasn't going through shit, then you wouldn't be enduring, man. All right, so expect in this walk, you have to expect to go through shit. All right, shit's gonna be unfortunate. You're gonna be having certain things that's gonna be uncomfortable. You know, you're gonna have that thorn in your side. It's gonna be all type of shit that's gonna be thrown at you, you know, in this walk, man. But that's the whole goddamn point of enduring, man. All right, if the Lord wasn't putting you through shit, you know, then you wouldn't have to endure through anything, man. All right, you know, you got, you know, Jakes that probably believe that, you know, this walk is supposed to be, you know, just shits and giggles, you know, and easy. You know, it's supposed to be a easy pass, so to speak. All right, but the truth be told is, when you come into the faith, man, the Lord is gonna start putting the fire on your ass, man. All right, He's gonna start putting the fire on you, because he's gonna purge all them impurities off you, man. All right, and that's the whole point, you know, of Him putting these things on you to keep your ass uncomfortable. You know, because the Lord even said that He chastises those whom He loves, man. All right, so if the Lord is truly dealing with you, then expect to go through unfortunate shit. You know, constantly, you know, dealing with car problems, you know, payments that you probably can't even keep up with. You know, shit with your rib and, you know, whatever the case may be. But you're not going through that for no reason, man. All right, if the Lord is truly dealing with you, then He gonna keep you. He gonna keep you perfectly balanced, and He gonna keep you, you know, uncomfortable to the point where, you know, you got, you know, your daily bread, you know, you probably got, you know, your essentials, you know, but the Lord is gonna have that fire on your ass so that you can have in the back of your mind that we in hell, man. Right? So you can have that in the back of your mind that we still in captivity, and that we need a savior and a new heavens and a new earth, man. All right, so the Lord is gonna keep you uncomfortable so that you know that, and so that you remember that, man. All right, because imagine if the Lord ain't putting no fire on us. You know, Jacob be kicked back, you know, shit, not even hastening the day of the Lord, man. You know, this why you got cats talking about, you know, it's you know, Yahweh Shai can come back between now and 1,000 years. You know, somebody that states something like that, that's because they don't have the vision of the kingdom, man. You know, somebody who truly hastening the day, you hear we got another year here, and you like, God damn, like we've been trying to get out of here, man. Right? But the Lord wants you to be in that spirit, so that's why He's gonna continue to put that fire on you, man. Right? But the more and more you prevail through these, you know, bumps and stumps and logs on the road, the more and more that you're gonna grow and be hardened in the spirit, man. All right, so if you got something, you can go to pull it, bro. You can break it down, man.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 2. Set your affection on things above, not on things on earth. You know, and what the brothers say, man, you know, a lot of people are like, man, I don't want it to end, you know, in a year, you know, but hey, looking how things are going, man, you know, prophecies unfolding quick, man, and, you know, upwards of the people are happening more and more, and more talks about, you know, people uprising against the government, man, and it's going to happen, man. But let me read it again, Colossians 3:2, set your affections on things above, not on the things on the earth, man. You know, these things are gonna go away, man. You know, for the world is gonna it's gonna perish. So perish it. You know, roughly paraphrasing. You know, we know that this world's gonna perish, and then righteousness is gonna be established on earth, man. You know, but people are too worried about, you know, I gotta pay this. I gotta, you know, keep this house here. I gotta, you know, make my family happy with this and that. Keep buying my family Christmas presents, this and that. Not, you know, not setting their affection on things above, you know. You know, trying to, you know, get salvation, you know, to be a hopeful member of the elect, man. You know, fasting, praying, you know, studying, you know, all these things that we need to do. That, you know, because that's setting your affection on things up above, man.
Yep,
you know, you're storing up your spiritual money.
And the only way that you the only way that you will be in that spirit of doing those things, right, putting those things to action, is if the Lord is putting you through that fire, man. Right? Because again, going back to the focal point of the lesson, the whole point of going through tribulations is to endure, man. Right? I want to pull this out. This is the book of Sirach 4:28. Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. You know, so when you strive for something, you know how you see when Jake running them 100-meter dashes and track, and as soon as they finna hit the finish line, they strive over, you know, to basically get that extra leap, you know, that extra I guess you could say hundredths of a second, you know, over the opponent, man. Right? But that's the spirit that you have to obtain being in this truth. You have to strive, man. If you could, bro, could you look up the definition for the word strive? Because when you strive for something, when I think of the word strive, what comes to mind is you putting so much effort into something that veins is popping down your neck and shit. You know what I mean? And now I ain't saying, you know, you got to be out there teaching veins in your head, and that ain't what I'm saying. But it's just a mindset of the mindset that you should have and the spirit that you should have of being in this truth, man. All right, but if you not dealing with anything, if you ain't, you know, catching hell and shit like that, then you ain't gonna strive, man. Right? Because your walk is easy. But you notice, you know, it's like when you climbing a mountain. You know what I'm saying? When you climbing the mountain, you know, in order to get to the top of that shit, you have to strive, man. But you're gonna be going through aches, pains, cramping, you know, legs burning, all type of shit. Right? But the only way to get to the top and see that beautiful ass view is you have to strive to get to the top.
You got to endure that.
Exactly. You have to endure that uncomfortable ass walk getting to the top. Your legs probably gonna be burning, feet hurt, calf muscles probably cramping. All right, but you have to strive. You have to put the effort, man. All right, but the only way that you're gonna do that is if you going through shit. Right? But the Lord wants you to go through shit to keep you uncomfortable, man. Right? To keep you in the right spirit, man. You know, because imagine if we had everything we wanted. You know what I'm saying? Man, it'll be hard to serve the Lord. You could sit here and say that if you had, you know, a buku amount of money, you know, when you ain't even gotta work, kick your feet up, your rib, everything perfect family. What's that, picture perfect ass family, bills paid, you got, you know, vehicles, you got everything. You ain't finna serve the Lord, bro.
Hey, most Jakes will be way too comfortable.
You will be way too comfortable, and the Lord knows that. So this is why He gonna keep you at a balance.
Hey, He's gonna keep us on a lower state.
He gonna give you certain things, but then He gonna put you through shit to remind you, like, nah, look, this shit ain't it. But you know that it's gonna be something greater coming after this, so that's gonna put you in a spirit of, you know, I fuck this shit. You're gonna continue to strive, man.
Hey, man's goings is the ways of the Lord, man. If you want to plan something, hey, and a brother in the truth, you know, the brothers that are following the apostle elders of GMS, they should have that feeling, man. You know, some brothers might have plans, and you know, most people in the world would be like, man, what the fuck, you know, I can't. Why is it not happening? but the men of the Lord are gonna accept and they're gonna appreciate that. Hey, Tawadi Yabashim Yashar for not allowing me to go through with my plans because hey, man, we would have been too comfortable. You know, who knows, man? You know, there's so many things that hey Yabashim Yashar blocks, man. He closes doors for us too, man. You know.
Yep. Time, bro. Beautiful point. But I'll read it over again one more time. Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight with thee. If you could you pull up the definition for the word strive, bro?
I got it right here. Strive, it says, make great efforts to achieve or obtain something, struggle or fight vigorously, man.
Struggle or fight vigorously, meaning you got to be enduring through some, man, I'm talking about you got to be going through some shit mentally. You know, you probably going through some shit at home, but you got to balance it out with the truth. You know what I'm saying? The Lord going to put you through shit to test you and see if you still going to teach. You know what I mean? To see if you still gonna serve him. The Lord might take some shit from you that you like, and see if you gonna curse him, like how Job's wife did. Shit, Job's wife. Hey, before the Lord took everything was good. But then once the Lord started taking shit away, you know, then that's when she had basically turned her back against the Most High. So the Lord gonna put you through the test to see, you know, He may give you something and then take it right from you, just to see what spirit that you're gonna be and to see if you're gonna endure through it, man. All right, and you got to understand that that's a part of the test, man. Coming into this truth, you know, every brother should be hip to Sirach, the 2nd chapter. You know what I'm saying? Them temptations is going to come, man. All right, them temptations going to come because it's going to build your spirit. It's going to build character. You know, we use the analogy at camp, you know, as gold is in a furnace, you know, that's what the Lord is likening us unto. You know, Jacob's gonna go through, man, it's gonna be days where you're gonna be stressed the fuck out.
Hey, there's a saying too, pressure makes diamonds, man.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Most Jakes don't want to go through that pressure, you know?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, imagine diamonds go through a rough process in order to be made. Gold don't even come out of the ground looking the way that you buy it at the store. You know what I mean? If people was to see how gold come out, I mean, you probably wouldn't even think it would be gold. You know what I'm saying? Because it got all type of different impurities on it. You know what I mean? You'll probably think of some other shit. But once you put it through that fire and you melt all the bad shit off, and then you get that final, you know, that final product, that quality, man. You know, and when the goldsmith sees his reflection in that gold or silver, then that's when he knows that it's done. And we all right now being purified and made in the image of Yahweh Shema Shah, man. All right, we all being purified right now. That's why we going through the fire, man. All right, which is matter of fact, I'll grab it too. But if you got something, you can pull it, bro.
I got 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 3. So I was gonna read through 7, but it reads, endure suffering along with me as a good soldier of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Soldiers don't get tied up in the affairs of civilian life, for they cannot please the officer who enlists them. You know, and things, and that goes for us, man. You know, we can't get tied up in you know, affairs of civilian life, man. You know, use the world but not abuse the world. You know, use money for security, things of that nature. Live a simple life, man. And it reads, and athletes cannot win the prize unless they follow the rules, man. You know, and this you know, goes to us, man. This is in the NLT, by the way. 2 Timothy 2:6. And hardworking farmers should be the first to enjoy the fruit of their labor. Verse 7, think about what I am saying. The Lord Yahweh Shem Shai will help you understand all these things, man. You know, so when you understand that the Lord, you know, is putting you up through all these things, man, you're gonna be grateful for it, man. But you gotta be in that mindset, you know, in a righteous mindset, man. You know, because most Jakes, you know, don't like to be told what to do, man. You know, they want to have their own understanding of their own life, man. You know, lean not unto that own understanding, man. You know, because you're just pleasing the flesh. You're just indulging in the flesh and doing whatever the fuck you want to do.
If you could, we're getting it off on 2nd Ezra 7, and matter of fact, you might as well just go ahead and start at 1, bro.
Across the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7, verse 1, and it reads, and when I had made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me the angel which had been sent unto me the nights before. And he said unto me, Up, Esdras, and hear the words that I am come to tell thee. And I said, Speak on my power, Yahweh. Then said he unto me, The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But the case, the entrance were narrow and like a river. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There's also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were fire on the right hand and on the left deep water. And only one path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once.
So when you read this scripture, you gotta kind of picture this in your mind. You know, brothers make the example of, you know, basically walking on a tightrope to the kingdom. So imagine yourself walking on a tightrope, and if you look down, you know that shit will scare the hell out of you because you know that shit hundreds of feet down. You know, if you fall, you know that it's over with. So you got the fire on one side, you know what I'm saying, and then on the other side, you know, it's this stormy, murky ass ocean, big 100-foot ass waves, and ain't no telling what's all in it.
No,
you know, just making, you know, just putting a you know, imagery out there. All right, and imagine you on this skinny ass tightrope, having to use both feet on that motherfucker in order to walk, and you having to put one over another. You know, and if you make the slightest wrong movement, then it's over with. You know, you have to imagine yourself being in that situation, because that's basically how it's gonna be going into the kingdom.
Hey, keeping your eyes single, man. You know,
Yep.
because basically, and I want to add too, man. You know, looking to the left. You know, hey, we know there's danger, but the flesh don't wants to go, so that's why you gotta keep going through that straight narrow path. It's because it's uncomfortable, man. But we know we gotta be uncomfortable to get through that narrow path, man. You know, because hey, hey, Thawadi Abashimi Ashar for letting us understand that there's danger on both sides, man. You know, a deep water on one side and a fire on the other side, man. So whichever way it is, there's no right way, man.
There's only a plan A,
Yup.
no plan B, no plan C. There ain't no backup plan.
Yup.
That's only one plan, and that shit is to the kingdom. You know, but in order to get to the kingdom, you have to go through the thick, the thin, the ugly, the beautiful. You gotta go through it all, man. Right? You gotta go through the struggles, the ups, the downs, and you're gonna have more downs than what you're gonna have ups, being in the truth, because that's how the Lord wanted, man. Right? The Lord wanted to where, you know, you focus on the prize, man. You know, like in 1 Corinthians the 7th chapter, you know, if Jake got a woman, then Jake gonna be focused on pleasing that woman. But then if Jake don't got a woman, you're gonna be focusing on the things pleasing to the Most High. You know, so if you had everything that you want, everything was pitching motherfucking perfect, you wouldn't be focused on pleasing or doing those things to please the Most High. Imagine if you had all the money, you'd be on a boat somewhere in you know what I'm saying? You'd be on a boat somewhere in the damn islands. You know what I'm saying? With hella women on the boat, not even thinking about serving the Lord. But when you going through shit, you know what I'm saying? When you going through shit and it's out of your control, the only thing you can do is keep your how about Shema Son mind, man. Right? But that's if you enduring, because you got Jake that they got a weak ass spirit, and niggas go through a little bit of fire and, you know, just give up and shit. You know, but the whole point of going through, going through that fire, man, right, is to endure, right? And the Lord is gonna put you through uncomfortable situations to keep you in that spirit, man. All right, so with that being said, Lord willing, we edified the hopeful, the ears of the hopeful elect, and that we did, make points, man. So with that being said, Adam Ratazah's sacrifice was acceptable in the eyes of Yahweh Shema Shah. And with that being said, before closing it out, giving all the glory and infinite praise to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakadash, Shalom, and Yahweh Shema Shah Barakathon.